it is advisable to go on ahead and log on to gpoverview.com. gpoverview.com so you can actually access the information visually based on what's going to be shared in a few moments here. If you just joined us, go ahead and just state your name and where you're calling from. Thanks so much. Welcome to the call, Benita Diaz from Long Island, New York. Welcome on. Thank you. Also, I'd encourage everyone, go out and send out, a couple of reminders, text messages, messages to your guests that you have lined up for a call, as well as webcast, as well as teammates as well, who may be at work or maybe they're tied up at their traditional business right now, and, they let you know that they have some guests that they've invited on, and maybe they have gotten away, and they need a quick reminder because the individual that I'm going to be bringing on in about the next 1 or 2 minutes is someone we all have a tremendous amount of respect for, one of the top company leaders, as well as industry leaders as well. We want to make sure that all of our guests get exposed to him as well. So if you come online, go ahead and state your name and where you're calling from, please. Good afternoon. Welcome on to the Organo Gold Nigeria pre-launch final cast. Go ahead and state your name and where you're calling from, please. Welcome to the call, Hempstead, New York. Who else do we have online with us? Belinda Ponder, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome to the call, Fort Lauderdale. Welcome on board. Rose Wilson, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome to the call, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good afternoon. Dr. Peter Babylon, Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the call, Doc, all the way from sunny Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome onto the line. Who else do we have online with us so far? Mary Dawson, Decatur, Illinois. Decatur, Illinois. Welcome onto the call. Greg Stewart, Atlanta. Welcome onto the call from Atlanta. Guys, we're going to go for about 45 seconds for a roll call here. If you have not already stated your name and where you call from, go ahead and do so at this time before we begin, please. Good afternoon. Welcome onto the call. Go ahead and quickly state your name and where you're calling from, please. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome to the call, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Who else do we have online? LaShawn Toyer, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome on to the call, Fort Lauderdale. Welcome on. Who else do we have online? I heard a number of other chimes coming at the same time. Go ahead and state your name as we wind down with our roll call. Who else do we have online? Tony Burton, Long Island, New York. Welcome to the call, Long Island, New York. Welcome to the call, Town. As we wrap up our roll call here, guys, I'm encouraging everybody. Mondale, New Jersey. Welcome to the call, Mondale. Go on to www.gpoverview.com so that you can visually access the information that's going to be shared. And we're going to go ahead and get the call on the way, guys. And I also want to say welcome online as well as to the webcast, by our guests and future business partners from around the world over Nigeria and many other countries that are represented on the line at this time. So please stand by. We're going to get started. Conference muted. All righty. Good afternoon and good evening. I know that we have, future business partners and current business partners that are on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean right now. I want to say good afternoon and good evening to you all. Congratulations for accepting the invitation that was provided to you by someone who thought highly of you. I want to get myself out of the way and actually bring on our featured speaker because that's definitely not me. This is someone I have a tremendous amount of respect for, not just myself, but thousands and millions of other individuals around the world, and around our industry as well. The gentleman has been featured, in many global business periodicals such as Fortune magazine, Success magazine, Success from Home magazine, and and he's been able to actually help, well over 50,000+ individuals during his career, get started in business, build a business, working his part-time and actually being able to hit some major goals. And even though, goals, he has been able to reach to the top of our company, in a record time. He has a leadership organization that spans, not just in North America, but South America, all throughout Europe, Australia, the Asia Pacific realm of the world, and also, a huge organization that's growing in Kenya and on the verge of a major momentum shifter going on in the great country of Nigeria. His leadership organization is well over, $3-4 million annually in revenue, and I couldn't think of anybody better, than a $500,000 ring earner, Diamond Executive Consultant, none other than Mr. Chris Oliver. Mr. Oliver, are you in line with us?
Absolutely, I am, Flonsdale Brown. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, sir. Take it away.
Outstanding, partner. Well, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you in for this afternoon's webcast. And the gentleman that many of you just heard of just a couple of seconds ago, Mr. Flonsdale Brown. A lot of respect for this gentleman. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and turn the chimes off. Sound like we still got some of the chimes that are actually that are coming in. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is definitely, first of all, the gentleman who was just online just a second ago, this gentleman also has built businesses nationally and also internationally as well. He had previous experience at building overseas, and now with our opportunity, our company, Organic Gold, he has stepped up to the forefront and taking on another big part of that role, helping to actually spread business, not only throughout the Europe area, but now into Africa, ladies and gentlemen. So this gentleman has a heart of gold, a work ethic that is incredible. He's that close from getting a level in our company, which is called Diamond, which is the #1 lifestyle in the world. This gentleman is right there, being able to get that done. So as many of you listen in, what this call really is about today is we're on the verge of opening up one of the most powerful countries in the world, which is Nigeria. And for many of you that are listening, what we're going to talk about today is something I really discounted. I made a major mistake about 4.5 years ago when this opportunity was brought my way, ladies and gentlemen. I was at a point back then where I made a mistake. I passed on. I really didn't get how big the coffee industry was. I knew about oil and gas because I lived here in Texas, and for many of you who may not know, in Houston, Texas, is probably one of the biggest or largest Nigerian communities in the United States. But we all know oil is big business. We knew that. One thing I didn't know, I didn't realize coffee was the second highest traded commodity in the world. And sometimes what you don't know can hurt you, ladies and gentlemen, because didn't sit down and look at the numbers and put a pen to it. And when I looked up 6 months later, the gentleman who was sharing it with me at that particular time, Mr. Holton Buggs, had created a massive wave of success. Now, this gentleman today has gone on to becoming the #1 income earner in the world. Now, that 6-month mistake, even though Mr. Brown just talked about, right now I'm a $500,000 ring earner, and we've been able to do that on an annual basis and things of that nature, but it probably cost me today, because of a 6-month delay, I would probably say about $250,000 minimum per year not getting in position even 6 months earlier. So what is it that I want to share with you? I want to share with you the conversation that was shared with me, because right now, not only are you now looking at a company that has a 5 solid year track record where, last year we did about $350 million. The year before that, we did $300 million of revenue. The year before that, $152 million. So we have grown consistently for 5 solid years, but we're just now getting wave 2. Wave 2 is where we're going to take this company from a $350 million a year business to a company that's going to do $10 billion per year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 1 billion is 1,000 million. So when you start looking at being able to do 10 billion, there are some countries that we're on the verge that's going to be part of this wave 2 explosion. And now we're talking about the continent of Africa. We've already opened up Kenya about 3 or 4 months ago. Nigeria is about 4 times the size of actually Kenya. We're looking at May. So you're looking at this in what we call pre-launch phase of business right now. So what is that I want to share with you? Let's go ahead and kind of cut to the chase and jump right kind of into the information. When you look at our company, Organo Gold, ladies and gentlemen, this is easy. It's simple. It's coffee, second highest traded commodity in the world, the second most consumed beverage on the planet, next to only water. So when you look at right now coffee, 1.6 billion cups of coffee is being consumed every 24 hours somewhere around the globe, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the only issue with that is somebody somewhere has been getting paid for decades. Coffee has been around since 700 AD, where coffee was founded on the African continent. So now what it has been able to do is position several of us where we can get paid every time now somebody takes a sip of coffee. So I want you to think about, right now in Lagos, how many millions of people are in Lagos? You look at Nigeria as a total, 168 million people are in Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen. But however, what I want you to do is look and think about the extension of Nigeria. You have individuals that are here in the United States, that are in Canada, that are in the UK, that are actually even part of our organization that have actually ties back into Nigeria. We got partners in Germany that have partners in their family that live in Nigeria. So with this pre-launch, we're talking about a global expansion that literally will help to open up this particular country. Now, when you look at right now, we position ourselves around a few industries. One of them is the internet. There are some of you online right now. Tomorrow at this exact same time, so as we end this particular webinar, right now it's about 7:10 p.m. in Nigeria. So you're going to have for the next 3, 4, 5 hours that you can actually let people know the same thing will be taking place tomorrow with our organization. So we're going to help support those that are launching business that want to get in at the front end of what's taking place in Nigeria. So when you look at the internet, now people can order online. It can be drop shipped at their doorstep. Now, if you're wondering about distribution, we have now 18 different facilities, warehouses. When we went into Kenya, we put a warehouse in Kenya. So guess what? Coffee is right there in that particular country. No different than when we launched Nigeria. Guess what? We'll have facilities. We'll have company support, which means employees will be the ones helping to run that facility and business that we're looking to operate in Nigeria as we open up May 15th. That is going to be the go date. Many of you will have the opportunity at the end of this call to position yourself even before. So we're not even talking ground floor. We're talking about still a basement opportunity where you're at the front end of a launch that's going to happen in Nigeria. So when you look at home-based business, it's a good feeling right now. I'm coming to you right now from my home office, ladies and gentlemen, where right now at the luxury of home, you get a chance to run a multi-million-dollar business from home, where you can do business all over the world. Our organization has expanded in over 15 different countries, and you could be at your home, whether you're in Lagos, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Germany right now, and guess what? Be able to build business. The other thing is health and wellness. A lot of people are being more, now focused on their health. Baby boomers are retiring at a rate of 10,000 a day. People are looking to look younger, feel younger. We're positioned because of our health ingredient on that. So let's go ahead and talk coffee for a second. Coffee is not a luxury. It is a necessity. There are some people who won't even start their day out until they had a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk a little bit more about tea because, yes, we do have tea as well. So when you look at it, you're looking at a global impact that people start out every day sipping on a cup of coffee, sipping on a cup of tea. Well, imagine every time they do that, we get paid for that, ladies and gentlemen, with Organo Gold's coffee. So that's about 1.6 billion cups of coffee every 24 hours. Now, what I want to do is just take you back to kind of what happened here in the U.S., because I want you to really kind of look to see where you sit right now for Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, about 15, 20 years ago, Starbucks stepped up on the scene and started to sell coffee at $3, $4, $5 for a cup of coffee. They changed the entire coffee industry. Matter of fact, you had companies that have had coffee for decades, but didn't understand the power of coffee. Starbucks did. Starbucks made $16 billion off of coffee, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, as you travel around any hotels, as you go through different countries, you will end up seeing Starbucks coffee. Well, McDonald's, which is another global icon company, this company was paying attention to Starbucks. They did some study. They went and hired an executive, and they found two things out. Number one, you have to get a gourmet coffee bean and change the look of your cup. The second thing, it only takes 7 cents to make a pot of coffee. But when you pour it out by the cup, there's a $15 profit on every 7-cent pot of coffee. That means that every time you put $700 into coffee, let's break this down real quick. 7 cents equals $15. 70 cents equals $150. $7 equals $1,500. $70 equals $15,000, and $700 put in the coffee equals $150,000 worth of profit. Well, guess what? When McDonald's understood that, they changed everything to what they were doing and wrapped it around coffee. Now we know them as the McCafe. McDonald's in 18 months made $24 billion off of coffee. Now all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, Burger King, they come out with the iced mocha. Dunkin' Donuts, they changed their logo from a donut to a picture of a cup of coffee. Nestle is selling coffee. Subway is even selling Seattle Best coffee. Seattle Best is a whole owned subsidiary of actually Starbucks. So what if you could now offer all these millions? We're talking about globally billions of coffee drinkers out there. What if you could offer them a better tasting coffee, one that's better for the body, and every time somebody take a sip of it, you're in a position to get paid. But the question would be, is what is it that makes our coffee better? It is an all-natural herb, which is called Ganoderma lucidum. Now, how many people like to take care of themselves naturally? Well, when I did a search on Ganoderma, I put it in on the internet. About 3.5 to 4 million web pages come up when you put Ganoderma in as a search. You can put any health concern next to that particular name. You can actually put it in PubMed, WebMD. You'll find doctors, scientists, universities, hospitals, laboratories. They've been researching Ganoderma for years. Why? Ganoderma has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Originally, over in Asia, it was put aside for the emperors and the royalty. Matter of fact, the Chinese, they even call it the miraculous king of all herbs because of its ability to deal with our body's own natural killer capacity. So what does Ganoderma do to support our health? Well, it oxygenates the body. It provides more energy and vigor. It detoxifies. It supports the quality of sleep, the immune system. So when you look at really documented research, because I have a lot of people say, well, let me go do my research. We've already been researched. That is why 35 different governmental agencies have already approved our product and our company to come into their country. And now here comes Nigeria, one of the largest countries out there when it deals with a global impact, is now stepping into the scene. South Africa is going to be following that, ladies and gentlemen. So here's what I want you to realize. We're already GMP certified. That's the goods and manufacturing practice. We're kosher certified. We're halal. In some of the Muslim countries, guess what? We already have the halal certification. We're actually USDA organically certified. We're EcoCert, JAS certified. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these certifications are international certifications. Even the preparation method that we use is already patented as well. So which particular products do we have? So when we launch into an area, usually we launch first of all with our beverages. So that comes down to our coffee. We have our black coffee, which you can drink it straight. We have a latte that already has cream and sugar mixed in it. We have a mocha that has a hint of chocolate in that coffee. We have a Cafe Supreme. Not only does it include Ganoderma, it also has ginseng, which creates an incredible boost of energy. We also have Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee beans have been deemed by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's finest coffee beans. We're the only company they've allowed to fuse our healthy ingredient into those beans. If you're not a coffee drinker, we also have 100% organically grown green tea. We have a red tea. We have an iced tea. We have hot chocolate or hot cocoa. About 3.5 to 4 weeks ago, we have just shaken up the entire coffee industry because everybody kept talking about these Keurig machines or what they call the K-Cups. That K-Cup has been big business for the last 10 years or 15, 20 years or what have you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, about 3.5 to 4 weeks ago, we have been the very first to come out with a better gourmet, what we call our brew cup, that we just launched it right now about 3.5 to 4 weeks ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, every hotel, many times you go to, there's coffee already there. When you go to a person's home, when you go into an office building, they have some device, and usually it's one of these Keurig machines nowadays to make the coffee. Well, we have our gourmet coffee in black. We have it in a hazelnut blend. We also have a chocolate almond blend, which is off the charts when it deals with the taste, ladies and gentlemen. However, also, we do have the nutraceutical line, which comes down to our capsules. We have it in soap, toothpaste, and even lotion as well. But the biggest thing and reason what allowed me to join this opportunity, it came down to leadership. Visionary and experienced leadership. When you look at Bernie Chua, who's the CEO and founder of the company, you're looking at a company today, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the leadership, completely, it looks like the United Nations, minority-owned company. What you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is a corporation with Bernie Chua, the CEO and founder of the company. This is the gentleman who formulated how to fuse the Ganoderma into the coffee where you couldn't see it, smell it, or taste it. Then you look at the next picture, Mr. Shane Moran. Shane Moran, out of Canada, this gentleman understood international expansion. When I got launched in business, April the 10th, as of today, today is my 4th year celebration of being involved with OrganoGo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Shane Moran, when I got started, we were only in 3 countries. Today, we're now in 35 different countries. What do you think is going to happen when all of a sudden now Nigeria opens, but the next thing you know, we get ready to hit Ghana. We get ready to go into South Africa. We go into all these different areas, and just so happen, those of you who are in position early, you get a chance to override all of that. Then you look at the next gentleman next to him, Mr. Holton Buggs. Ladies and gentlemen, for many of you who are coming aboard in our organization, this is a gentleman who personally brought me into business. Today, out of 100 million people worldwide in the networking and home-based business industry, he's the absolute #1 income earner in the world, ladies and gentlemen. So he understands what he's doing. Then also, there's a big fight that's going to be pay-per-view. It's going to be up around the world with Manny Pacquiao and Bradley. It's a big fight that's happening this weekend in the boxing match. Well, guess what? Manny Pacquiao, he's met with our founders. This gentleman is also originally from the Philippines, but he has actually come aboard now with OrganoGo, and during that fight where millions of viewers around the world will watch that fight, guess what? OrganoGo will be branded with that particular fight, ladies and gentlemen. Then also, you look at, there's a book out called Think and Grow Rich. This was authored by Napoleon Hill back in the 1930s. It has been translated into more than 20 or 30 different languages. This book around the world has created more millionaires than any other book ever written in history. OrganoGo is the only company they've allowed to lock horses with and say, we want to tie our logo and brand in with your company. We're the only ones. And then one last thing before I move on. There's a golfer out there by the name of Greg Norman. This gentleman was also a global icon in the golf industry. He's worth about $500 million. So for those of you that are listening, I know we got some big business owners listening that are here in the United States that are originally from Nigeria. And then we got some partners that are business owners. Maybe you've been invited on this call by one of our partners out of Florida. I was just talking to LaShawn Toy, and also she had John online, and this gentleman is a doctor, and he had some partners that are also listening on this webinar right now. But here's the one thing I want you to realize. Greg Norman was worth $500 million when he looked at OrganoGo. This gentleman sought out our company, got involved, went to the position of Emerald, and then the company said, well, hey, since you believe in the product, you're already building it, you don't really need the money, but you see this as another vehicle where you can change lives. Why don't you also become our global brand ambassador? And ladies and gentlemen, he accepted that. So let's go ahead and really kind of cut to the chase and talk about how the money and income is being earned. And it's always important for us to have multiple streams of income coming in. So what if you could tie your income into something that has been here before any of us was ever born on the planet? That's coffee. What if you could tie your income into something that's going to be here even after we leave, which means you're creating a generation legacy of wealth. So when you look at it, we got 7 different ways how we get paid. The first way is called retail sales. Retail sales is where we get our coffee wholesale, buy the box of it, and generally, I'm going to give it to you in just dollars and cents right now. The boxes of coffee comes like this, ladies and gentlemen, and generally, they're anywhere between 20 to 30 cups of coffee in these particular boxes. Our price by the cup is about 55 to 80 cents or so a cup of coffee in these individual sachets. Now, when we retail it, in order for us to retail this coffee, all we do is give out a sample of it. We allow people to taste it. People love the way it tastes. They love the way it makes them feel. What happens is you don't have to be a salesperson to do this. All you have to get good at doing is giving away the coffee. Right now, we already have this coffee in Nigeria right now. We got people who already love the way it tastes, love the way it makes them feel. Many of you listening right now, we're not talking about you getting started May 15th. There's a way, ladies and gentlemen, that we got partners who have already positioned themselves now. When the switch is turned on, then they're going to be able to transfer that actual address and everything from the United States back over into Nigeria. So I want you to realize what we're talking about. When you're dealing with these samples, we're selling this coffee for 100% markup at about $30, $34 a box of coffee. That's about $1, $1.50 a cup of coffee. But now it's competitively priced. But the biggest thing is, where can you sell this coffee? You can put it in salons and spas. You can put it in gyms. You can put it in schools. Ladies and gentlemen, at my kids' school, I know the teachers have coffee in the break lounges, but this is the first time I ever heard in history where on Thursdays, they have coffee for the kids. Now, there are 3,000 kids at that one school. And guess what? They're selling coffee to the kids at school. So you can put it in schools. You can put it at special events. Imagine right now, there's a big football match. Now, as I talk about football, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you in the States, you're used to one type of football. Globally, football is what we kind of call soccer as well. Let's say a big match is going on, 50,000 people. What if your coffee is there? We have some people who take our coffee, they sell it by the cup. We had a gentleman go do a hair show in Atlanta, Georgia. 15,000 people showed up. Remember, 80% of them already drink coffee. Sold the coffee for about $3.50 or so a cup. Ladies and gentlemen, he had a $7,000 profit in 2 days at that one event. Also, one of the other big, U.S. football games, the gentleman put the coffee in the concession stand. $10,000 profit by the end of halftime. So again, you can sell it person to person. You can actually put it in places and facilities. The biggest thing, how we have all built our business, is just by going out getting 10 customers that will get this coffee from you consistently, month after month, month after month. Just 10 customers. And then over this next year or two, our goal is to help you build a team of about 1,000 people who are doing the same thing. But as you build your team, what kind of income comes from that? Well, when people decide they want to come in with any of our coffee packages, there are bonuses paid of $20, $80, up to $150 when that takes place. The third way income is earned is called the dual team. Now, this is where it's important to get this part, because this is about your positioning. Right now, how many of you out there know at least 2 coffee drinkers? We know that's everybody. So if you know 2 coffee drinkers, take those 2, teach them how to do what it is that you've already done. That 2 will then duplicate to 4. The next month, it'll duplicate again to 8, then 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1,000, 2,000. When you look up at the end of a year, you got 4,000 people that are just drinking the coffee. If we use $50 as an example for each one of those individuals, 50 times 4,000, that's $200,000 worth of coffee revenue. Now, no matter what country you're listening from right now, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in the UK, doesn't matter. Put a pen to this. Take $200,000. Our dual team pays up to as much as 20%. What is 20% of $200,000? That comes up to what? $40,000, not for the year, but in this example, we're talking about for that month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what happens if only half of that works? It's still $20,000 for the month. What happens if only 10% works out? That means 90% of everything I just showed. What if it didn't work this way? Only 10% was right. That's still $4,000 extra a month. What could that do for a family, ladies and gentlemen? So when you look at the dual team, the partners that many of you are listening through right now, when you're working with partnerships that have given you a call, basically if they build a team of 500, 1,000 people, well, by you getting in position early, you can override that volume. So what happens right now if you now are one of the first to be part of this wave to kick off in Nigeria? Well, ladies and gentlemen, just like what happened in Australia, they did $1.5 million worth of coffee revenue the first week they came out of the gate. Several of those individuals overrode all that revenue and volume. Kenya, the same thing took place. So you're in the very first part of that positioning where you can override. Now, this way of getting paid out is on a weekly basis. So the checks could go up to, just like we got some of our sapphires online right now. At the sapphire level, it goes up to as much as $5,000 a week. So we got people like Tyler Staten out of the Jackson, Tennessee area. We got Belinda Ponda out of Florida, or whether you look at Tatisha Halliburton out of West Palm, which now has a group already starting to grow over in Nigeria. We got individuals that are building business like Paul Wiggins out of the South Florida area as well. These individuals, guess what? They're sapphires. Income go up to $5,000 a week. Then we have our next position of Ruby. At that level, it goes up to $10,000 per week. So individuals like LaShawn Toya out of Fort Lauderdale built a global business already. Guess what? They can go up to $10,000 a week. We got people like Dr. Michelle out of actually the New York area. She's an OBGYN by practice, but building this business. We got individuals like Benita Diop that's out of the New York area as well. And so when you start looking at several of our rubies, that you look at also Mary and Ernie Dawson that's out of the Illinois area. So all of these partners, guess what? That's at Ruby. That's up to $10,000 a week. And then you look at Emerald. At that level, you got individuals, one person you just heard earlier, Mr. Flosdale Brown, that's up to $15,000 a week. We got positions go up to as much as $75,000 on a weekly basis in just one way how we earn income. So when you start thinking about what would it be like if you honestly had your own oil well in your backyard, and every month it pumped out, you got paid on it. Ladies and gentlemen, coffee is what we call black gold, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to drink coffee the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. This leads me to my fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh way to get paid. It is called residual income. That means that reoccurring income for something that you only did one time. See, the other ways we talked about getting paid, that was weekly. This is monthly reoccurring income. So some of you sample somebody. They love your coffee. Well, what if they're drinking this coffee for the next 10, 20 years? That means month after month, year after year, decade after decade, you're getting paid on something that you only had to do one time. See, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I realized, this is what you call sleeping money. When you go to sleep, think about you're in Nigeria right now, but you know somebody back here in the United States. You introduce them to the business. Well, guess what happens? When you go to sleep in Nigeria, somebody's waking up here in the United States. Somebody's waking up in Canada. Somebody else is waking up in Germany. So you're getting paid even while you sleep, because coffee is being consumed around the planet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's never a minute of the day that coffee is not being consumed. So just imagine, next benefit program we have, I know has already launched here in the States. Now, I'm saying here right now because it's also spreading on an international basis as well. But if you actually reside here, they have a Mercedes-Benz program in place. So I got some partners that right now we're talking to that live here in Houston, but they live in New York and Florida. But guess what? Originally from Nigeria. But right now, by them going sapphire, ruby, emerald, or diamond, requalifying that position, they now start receiving $400, $600, $800, up to $1,000 a month for Mercedes-Benz, ladies and gentlemen. And Mercedes just drives so much better when you're not having to worry about paying it yourself. We do have an exotic car line that covers Lamborghini, Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, Bentley. If you're wondering, do we have people who are driving these automobiles that are being paid for right here where I reside in Houston? The answer is absolutely yes. What happens when it's like that in New York? What happens when it happens like that in Florida? What happens as we take this car program and we start to put it into different other areas and different other places around the world, in Italy, in Africa right now? Also, how can a person get started in what it is that we do? We have a $49.95 distributor kit. So with this kit, this gets your position, but what it does, it gets you a kit, your ID name, your website goes active, you get a few samples of the coffee. But in order for you to now start to earn some of the incomes that we talked about and take advantage of some of the different programs, you have to get one of these 3 packages to start with. This is where your coffee comes into place. So this is $150 for the bronze pack. With that $150, you're going to be getting $150 worth of wholesale product. You got to also do the $49, but with this package, you earn up to 10% in dual team. Your weekly checks could go up to $500 per week. A better package will end up being the silver package. The silver package is $450. You're getting about $450 worth of wholesale product, but now all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, your checks could go up to $1,500 a week, and you're earning up to 15%. The positioning that we've seen, most of our partners that have already gotten themselves in position in Nigeria, that they're getting started at, is the same packages many of us came in at, which is called the gold package. The gold package is $1,245 plus the $49. With this package, you're receiving about $1,300 worth of wholesale product. Why do you want this much product? Well, ladies and gentlemen, because when I launched, I wasn't looking to talk to 1 or 2 people. When you're in front of a wave, it's kind of like you're the first one finding out there are diamonds going to be in this part of the country. Well, do you want to be slow about it, or do you want to build it big and build it fast? You want to build it big. You want to be able to take advantage of that, of the diamonds or the oil or what have you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, coffee, you need to have enough of it so people can sample it. As people get started in business, right now, you can get into the system. But remember, when you get your coffee, they don't have to wait a little while to get their coffee. Now, in May 15th when we launch, yes, we'll have coffee already in Nigeria. It will already be there. They'll be able to get their coffee immediately. However, would you want to wait that long? Because while you're waiting, somebody else is already getting in position. Somebody else is already making phone calls. While I'm even doing this presentation right now, you got other individuals are calling people, doing presentations with people they know in Nigeria as well. So we see partners come in with the gold pack. Now they got enough coffee to operate with. Now also they're earning up to 20% of dual team. The weekly checks could go up to $2,500 per week on this package as well. And when you look at, sometimes people say, well, Chris, what's the ultimate goal for our company as I get ready to wrap up? Our goal is to capture 1% of the coffee market. So that's why for some of you that are linked with us and you've seen some pictures, everybody have the 1-up. That is in reference to 1%. 1% of the coffee industry means that we'll be doing $660 million per month in coffee revenue. Our agreement in place with the manufacturer is a 50-50 split. That means half of everything that's collected, the company's going to use half for manufacturing, development. That's where the warehouses come from. That's where the employees. We have over 400 employees today that will help take care of your business, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what happens to the other half of the money? That's where we come into place. We get paid that. So out of $660 million per month, $330 million per month is what all my partners and I have the opportunity of splitting every 30 days. How much of $330 million per month would you and your family need to be financially set, financially free? See, ladies and gentlemen, depending upon maybe what your last name was born into or what have you, you may have landed in the oil industry. But likelihood is that that doesn't happen for most individuals. So here we are. We can put our flag in the second highest traded commodity in the world, which is coffee. So look at just the track record. When we started out, ladies and gentlemen, in 2008, company did about $2 million for that whole September to December. 2009, we did $9 million. Remember, it's a 50-50 split. The company paid out $4.5 million. In 2010, the company did $47 million. We paid out $23 million. In 2011, we jumped to $152 million. The company paid out $75 million. 2012, we did $300 million. The company paid out $150 million. Last year we did 350 million. Company paid out 175 million. What do you think we're going to look like when we're doing $1 billion? We're doing $5 billion. Our goal is to become a $10 billion per year annual company. Nigeria will play a big role into what it is that we're talking about. So when you look at right now being in position, a couple things come to mind. Do you have time to do this? Timing, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when opportunities come in front of you, you got to step to the plate and take advantage of it, because it's not going to be the same. If you wait until May 15th or you're waiting until January next year, what have you, do you realize we will probably already have 50, 100,000 people in Nigeria in the business where they've already built their organizations and teams? So do you want to be in at the front end, or would you want to hear about it after people are already creating that success? The other thing to look at is money. Don't ever let the lack of, can you hear me? Flazel. Hey, can you hear me at this point? All right, just wanted to make sure it's, okay, good. Okay, I had a little background noise, okay. So when you look at, ladies and gentlemen, never ever let the lack of money ever stop you from making money. See, remember, sometimes you got to step up and make things happen in order for you to make a way for yourself and your family. So this is one of those moments. The other thing I want to talk to you about as I wrap up this call is going to be about a position of equity. What do I mean by that? If you say, well, Chris, right now I hear what you're saying. You guys have opened up 35 countries and you're telling me Nigeria is going to explode. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you get started today, when we put another 500,000, 10,000 people in business, and some of you say, well, can that many people get in? When I started, I told my partners the same thing, what we were going to do. And guess what? We put in 1,000. We put in 2,000. Our organization grew to 5,000. It grew to 10,000. Today, over 25,000 people in our organization worldwide. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, it's going to happen in Nigeria. We'd love to have you a part of it. So if you get in position early, you're sitting on top of a lot of those people that come in Nigeria. But if you wait, all of a sudden by waiting, let's look at the slides. You get in early, that's to the left of the screen that you're looking at. You sitting on top of all of that. If you wait and you say, okay, now I'm ready to go, well, you don't come in where you could have gotten in at the top. Now you're coming in after 500, 1,000, 10,000 people have already gotten in. And guess what? You will never benefit from the ones who got in before you. But if you get in early, you get a chance to benefit off of what you do, and you benefit off of what some of these other people are going to do that you don't even know. So when you look at that, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we're going to be doing another webinar presentation just like this at the exact same time, 7 o'clock p.m. in Nigeria. Now, the thing is, if this has made sense to you, two things. I want you to get back with the person that invited you on this particular call. We'll show you how to get the documents, make your list out, start to invite people. But the biggest thing is get yourself into the system. Now, for those of you who say, well, Chris, how can I do that? Any of our partners that have guests that are listening in, ready to get in position, all you have to do is contact your plugged-in senior partner. We know how to get these individuals in position where they can actually get their positioning now, even before anybody else starts to get in that area. And then officially, when it's opened up, all we do is send in transfer paperwork, and the address, all of it transfers directly to them. But also, ladies and gentlemen, there's a way for your coffee to be shipped off to you as well in Nigeria, even right now. It takes about 10, 14 days for you to get it, but you're going to be getting everything about 2-3 weeks earlier before everybody else launches over there. So with that part being said, get back with the person that have invited you on this particular webinar. We'll show you how to get in position. We'll show you how to step up to the plate. And tomorrow, what if you had a meeting at your home tomorrow? Let's say you're listening and you're in Nigeria. Well, guess what? What if you invited some people over tomorrow? Tell them to be there at 6 o'clock. Tell them to be there at 6:30. And you know this is going to start at 7 o'clock. All you have to do is turn your computer on, put your speakers up loud, and you sit back and we'll do the entire presentation for you tomorrow. If you can do that, that's all we did when we got started. I put people on the phone lines. I put people in front of a presentation. Some said yes, some said no. The ones who said yes are sitting on top of millions of dollars worth of business today. The ones that said no, a lot of them are still doing what they were doing 4 years ago. So if that's you, I want to say definitely welcome aboard, but we're looking for those individuals that want to override millions of dollars of revenue that will be coming out of Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, and you have the opportunity to change a lot of lives with an incredible product. At the same time, you're creating financial independence. So with that said, it's been a privilege. It's been an honor being on this call. Take care, be blessed, and we'll see you back on this same channel tomorrow at 7 p.m., and that's in Nigerian time. That's 1 o'clock p.m. Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time if you're here in the States. Take care, be blessed. We'll see you over the top. Have a great day, everybody, and be blessed.